Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly review on space and hardware to space with me, Christophe Paget. In this episode, we shall report on SpaceX activities, progress made by LandSpace on spacecraft reusability, NASA progress on Artemis. We shall also check up on Neptune and discuss two lunar lander from JAXA and Astrobotic to conclude with the launches of the week and a magnificent image of our night sky. Would it be nice if the Starship number 25 did not explode and therefore continued through the trip around Earth to finally land near Hawaii as planned? Well, this nearly happened. During a starbase update in Boca Chica in Texas, Elon Musk just mentioned that the reason for Starship number 25 blew out during the integrated flight number 2 was not linked to the automatic flight termination system as previously mentioned by SpaceX, but rather caused by excess liquid oxygen being dumped overboard during ascent, which caught fire and triggered Starship explosion. So my previous theory is going out of the window, but ironically, if a payload would have been on board, more liquid oxygen would have been consumed and therefore less thrown out overboard. Therefore, the fix appears to be either to add a payload or reduce the quantity of oxygen on board. So let us see what they have chosen next month during SpaceX's integrated flight test number 3. Moreover, it means that no changes have to be implemented to Starship number 28. No further information were provided about the cause of Booster 9 explosion in space. Anyway, so additionally, speaking about Falcon 9, Elon mentioned that the booster was being certified for a whopping 40 reflights. So today the booster is certified for 20 reflights and only one booster has so far reflown 19 times, that's booster 1058, the same one which unfortunately got broken in half in rough seas. About Starbase infrastructure, the last tent has been demolished to make room for more permanent buildings of the Star Factory. LandSpace has successfully flight tested its Tsuke-3 Hopper prototype. So Tsuke-3 is part of several demonstrators of reusable rocket technology. The craft took off vertically with the help of a single gimbaling engine, reaching an altitude of 350 meters or 1,150 feet to further translate and land a few meters away in the center of the landing pad. So the test was a real success and solidifies the progress made by LandSpace in its reusable rocket design. NASA has tested its RS-25 engine or one of them anyway, for Artemis 2 rocket at the Stennis engine test facility. The test lasted 500 seconds as planned, and at the same time NASA has advertised 1 year delay on Artemis 2 and 3 programs. Artemis 2 will bring 4 astronauts in rotation around the moon to simulate the journey to the future moon space station called Lunar Gateway, which is now planned for no earlier than September 2025 instead of late 2024. As for Artemis number 3, which is planned to land the first astronaut near the lunar South Pole with the SpaceX human landing system, a modified version of the Starship, is now scheduled for no earlier than September 2026. This week, it's the turn of Neptune to tell us what secrets it hides. Neptune is the 8th and furthest away planet of our solar system. Right now, I imagine some of you might wonder, oh, what about the 9th planet, Pluto? Well, sadly, in August 2006, the International Astronomical Union downgraded the status of Pluto to that of just dwarf planet. This means that Neptune is the most distant of the major planets in our solar system. Neptune is really dark, cold, with surface temperatures of minus 353 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 214 degrees Celsius. The warm light we see here in our home planet is roughly 900 times as bright as sunlight on Neptune, which is why Neptune is an ice giant. It's the only planet in our solar system not visible to the naked eye, therefore impossible to be detected by early astronomers. So Neptune was in fact the first planet discovered thanks to astronomers' mathematical calculation with position predictions made by Urbain Le Verrier. Johann Gottfried Galle was that lucky astronomer to then discover this planet in 1846, which he named after the Roman god of the sea, a name proposed, by the way, by Urbain Le Verrier. It was very kind of Johann to do so. Neptune's environment is as most faraway planet, meaning not conductive to light, according to scientists. His temperature, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are more likely to be extreme for organisms to survive. Neptune is about 4 times wider than Earth, and from an average distance of 2.8 billion miles or 4.5 billion kilometers, Neptune is 30 astronomical units away from the Sun, meaning 30 times farther than Earth is. One day, or full revolution of Neptune on itself takes about 16 hours and makes a complete orbit around the Sun, or a Neptunian year, in about 165 Earth years. Actually, in 2011, Neptune completed its first 165-year orbit since it was discovered in 1846. So keep your eyes peeled for the next full Neptunian year in 2176. Neptune's axis of rotation is tilted by 28 degrees, similar to that of Mars or Earth. This means that Neptune experiences seasons just like we do on Earth. However, since his year is so long, each of the 4 seasons lasts for over 41 years. So if you do not like the winter, you are snookered. Neptune has 14 known moons. His largest moon, Triton, was discovered by William Lassell just 17 days after Johann Galle discovered Neptune. Triton is the only large moon in the solar system that circles its planet in a retrograde orbit, meaning a direction opposite to the planet's rotation, which suggests that it may have once been an independent object that, unfortunately, Neptune captured thanks to his strong magnetic field. Triton is also extremely cold, far colder than Neptune, with a surface temperature around minus 391 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 235 degrees Celsius. However, a spacecraft called Voyager 2 discovered geysers spewing icy material upward more than 5 miles or 8 kilometers. Neptune has at least 5 main rings named Gale, Le Verrier, Lasselle, Arago, and Adams. Adams hosts 4 prominent arcs named Liberté or Liberty, Égalité or Equality, Fraternité or Fraternity, and Courage. Neptune took shape with the rest of the solar system about 4.5 billion years ago and is one of the 2 ice giants in the outer solar system together with Uranus, with 80% or more of the planet's mass made up of a hot, dense fluid of icy material such as water, methane, and ammonia above a small rocky core. Scientists think there might be an ocean of super hot water under Neptune's cold clouds. Well, it does not boil away because incredibly high temperature keeps it locked inside, and Neptune does not have a solid surface. Its atmosphere is made of mostly 80% of hydrogen, 13% of helium, and 2% of methane. And Neptune, like Uranus, has a blue-green color due to the methane in its atmosphere. And actually, when you look at the pictures, you see a vivid and brighter blue compared to Uranus, for example. However, it was artificially darkened many moons ago to show Neptune features after Voyager 2. And however, the true color was recently reminded of us by Irvin and Al that his color is rather similar color of that of Uranus. Neptune is our solar system's windiest world. Despite its great distance and low energy input from the sun, Neptune's winds can exceed 1,200 miles per hour or 2,000 kilometers an hour. The magnetic field of Neptune is about 27 times more powerful than that on Earth, so no wonder why it attracts a lot more planets than Earth, that Triton. And the main axis of its magnetic field is tipped over by about 47 degrees, meaning the epicenters of auroras are away from its poles. On September the 6th, JAXA and MHI launched a H2A rocket from Tanegashima Space Center in Japan, with on board 2 payloads, the X-Rhythm and the moon lander called Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM, nicknamed the Moon Sniper, because JAXA designed SLIM to land within 100 meters or 328 feet from its target, being in this case the Scioli crater. As a small craft, it took 3 months to reach the moon orbit. I have previously covered this launch and reaching moon orbit, so keep an eye on that. It will be shown on the corner in this way. This week, SLIM has successfully landed on the surface of the moon, and communication with the spacecraft has been established after the landing. At the time of release of this video, it's not known if the lander has reached with accuracy the Scioli crater, as it struggles to generate power from the sun, so JAXA expects power to be re-established within a month. Astrobotic, as you may know, has had a fuel leak and issues with the craft orientation to capture the sun in order to recharge his battery of his moon lander Peregrine. And it therefore could not reach the moon surface and was finally positioned for a safe, controlled re-entry to Earth over a remote area of the South Pacific. Now, the team has been continuously monitoring his re-entry with NASA, which indicates a re-entry path over the area marked on the screen with no anticipated hazards. It took a series of 23 small main engine burns in an elliptical orbit to get such a re-entry on Thursday, January the 18th. Nevertheless, Astrobotic has learned a great deal with the craft and his instruments and will for sure retry in the coming month or at least this year. January 14th, SpaceX launched 22 Starlink V2 mini satellites to circular low Earth orbit at 530 km altitude and 53 degree inclination for his mission Group 710 on board a Falcon 9 from his Space Launch Complex 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The first stage landed for his 18th time, 642 km downrange on the drone ship Of Course I Still Love You. January 15th, SpaceX launched 23 Starlink V2 Mini from his mission Group 637 from the Space Launch Complex 40 in Space Force Base at Cape Canaveral in Florida. The payload was destined to a low circular Earth orbit at 530 km altitude and 43 degree inclination. The booster landed for his 12th time on the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas, some 630 kilometers away. Now, this flight was the 300th SpaceX launch, a big number for a 22 years old company. However, there is still some way to go to overtake the 1900 plus Soyuz launches since 1966. January 17th, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation launched a Long March 7 with on board the Tianzhou 7, a resupply mission supporting Tiangong Space Station with 13 metric tons or 29,000 pounds of payload on board. The rocket took off from LC-201 from Wenchang Space Launch Site in China for an altitude of 388 kilometer or 240 miles and 41 degree inclination destination. And the last launch of the week, January 18th, SpaceX launched its Axiom Space Mission 3, the third fully private mission to the International Space Station on board a Falcon 9 from the Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida to further dock to the ISS located at 420 kilometer circular orbit at about 52 degree inclination. And the crew on board were Commander Michael Lopez Alegria from Spanish and American nationality, Italian pilot Walter Valedai, mission specialist Alper Gezeravci from Turkey, and mission specialist Marcus Vandt from Sweden, as well as an ESA part of the ESA pool of astronauts. Now, according to Axiom, the crew will conduct more than 30 scientific experiments and demonstrations focused on human physiology and technical industrial advancement. The mission will last 14 days, and the Dragon capsule used has flown for its third time, while the booster landed back at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, landing zone 1, for its fifth flight. I leave you with this latest wonder captured by Ralph Rona of the northern lights shining in this night sky view from planet Earth's stratosphere, captured on January the 15th from a single 5-second exposure with a handheld camera on board an aircraft above Winnipeg in Canada. Now, obviously, the lower part of the picture is showing terrestrial lights in motion caused by aircraft speed. Above the more distant horizon, energetic particles accelerated along Earth's magnetic field at the planet's polar regions, excite atomic oxygen to create the shimmering display of aurora borealis. Now, the aurora's characteristics greenish hue is generated at typically 100 to 300 kilometers altitude, and the red color at even higher altitudes and lower atmospheric densities. The luminous glow of faint stars along the plane of our Milky Way galaxy arcs through the night, as you see in the middle of the top of the screen. Now you can even see the Andromeda galaxy on the upper left of your screen. Now, thank you very much for taking this journey with me, Christophe Paget, through Starbase, Neptune, launches of the week, and many more. Now, do not hesitate to click on the like button to promote this video to others through that YouTube algorithm. Now, have a great week and see you next week for your next episode of Espace News. Goodbye, folks.